When crime, they say, was the issue as the reason why blacks left here, that's not it. It was the lack of jobs because companies left here. Because you did not have people trained in the kind of skills necessary to continue to do the work in those areas. They went where they knew they would see businesses thrive, where they knew they would have skill sets of people that already lived in those communities that could do the job, and they've gone on to thrive there.
Right.
Crime was just one act.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are 100 Years Enterprise, Season 7, Episode 10, Consequences of the Street Life. We got a great guest today for this last episode. Man, before we go there, my name is Fahim.
Man, you got to give a shout out to 100 Years, man, and all the mentors, man. Give a shout out to them as well before we start, man. I just want to say I'm Patrick for 100 Years.
Absolutely. Today is a great day. It's the day after Mother's Day. We hope and pray that all the mothers around the world enjoy their day, and let's not just let one day be Mother's Day. Let every day be Mother's Day. Well, it's Father's Day. We got to continue to serve the community, serve these kids, and be here for the youth. Give a shout out to my man Cam is cooling behind the camera, our producer. We appreciate you, Cam. But before we go in there, let's we finna get right into it. Ahmad Anderson, please introduce yourself, my brother. I gave you a name, but I want you to introduce yourself.
Yes, Ahmad Anderson. Ahmad Jamal Anderson, born and raised here in the city of Richmond. Been here 66 years of my life. Born in Richmond Hospital. First apartment was on South 18th, still there. Still green and green trim. Same color it was when I was a kid.
Okay.
Moved from there to South 17th Street. Building still there when I was a kid, and then we moved to the Panhandle Annex of 55th and Bayview, and lived there till 1969 and 1969, then moved to where I'm living now, over in Laurel Park community.
Okay.
And that just gives you a bit of the journey, but it's always been about Richmond.
Yeah. Well, we know you're doing some things in Richmond. I mean, by doing some things, you've been going to these different these forums and these candidate debates and all those different things, right? Question and answers. And by you running for mayor, right? You running for mayor, correct?
I am running for mayor. Yes, sir, I am.
All right. I see you got the stuff on. I was just making sure you running for mayor.
As they say, Dave Chappelle said, that is correct.
That is correct. Okay. Like I said, we're going to jump right into it. So, by you running for mayor, how has it been dealing with all these community forums? How's that been for you?
You know, it's a great opportunity to, as I always say, meet people where they are and go to where they live and get out in front and not necessarily hear the questions from the moderator, but hear the questions that are generated from the people themselves.
Absolutely.
I think one of the key pieces is, the question I heard today, I was telling you all earlier about the morning show. They interviewed a young lady, and she was interviewing a person to be a congressperson. And she said, what is a key skill you have to be a great congressperson or even the mayor? And it's listening to the people that you are about to serve or you are serving.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, because we got it's a lot going on. Election coming up next month.
Yeah.
Was that June? So I get
June
it correct?
2nd.
June 2nd, right?
Ballots have already hit the mailbox, sitting on your kitchen table.
So we looking at now, right? A prism. We're in the prism of finding the best candidate that can lead this great city, right, of Richmond. and you got your hat in the bucket in regards to running for the next mayor. I wanted to ask a question on the lines of what Fahim stated was, give us a little history about your service. What you know, because services comes with every position that you take to represent something. So,
Sure.
where did that come from? Where did that derive from?
Well, I'll tell you right off the hat, it's more than just throwing your hat in. It's proven and demonstrated leadership. The first time I ever ran for city council was I was 25 years of age. And I was tapped on the shoulder by one of the great legends of this city, Councilman then Jim McMillan, for pharmacist Jim McMillan, one of the first and only black pharmacist that we had here in the city of Richmond.
Yes.
And he said to me, I am doing what I should be doing, but I won't be able to be here very long. And so I want to look out for youth. I want to make sure, because he hired a lot of young folks in his pharmacy, but I want to make sure that we pass this torch.
Absolutely.
And so what he recognized in me is that I had already been doing door-to-door canvassing for him when he ran. I started a business called Young Politicians Incorporated. So I offered my services to do door-to-door canvassing, drop literature, make sure young men and young women were knowing about what was going on, policies and practices that were affecting them. So youth programs, our community centers, how long they were open, are they gonna be open? And at that time, also the concern about harassment by the police. We had the cowboys back in.
Yes, yes.
And Jim
yes.
McMillan got there because he challenged them. And so he was one of the first people to bring forth the Police Review Commission. So working with him provided me some insight on the city politics in the here and now. Now, mind you, my father had been mayor and city council person here in 1969 through 75. But I was a young kid. I was 9 years old. So I didn't see the interworkings. I was hearing, I was listening, but by the time Jim McMillan ran in my early 20s, I now understood, because I've been at UC Berkeley, majored in political science, emphasis on urban planning.
Right.
I understood it, I got it, and was living that life right here, right now.
And speaking of Jim McMillan and him hiring a lot of youth,
Yeah.
he also sponsored a lot of youth baseball teams.
Yes.
I played for Danny Cleaners and Macmillan Pharmacy. We had
Yes.
Danny Cleaners on across the street and Macmillan Pharmacy.
Yes.
And that was my my Mustang team. How do we get back to small businesses sponsoring these little league teams in sports? Because we used to have Cash Brothers, we liquor store, Fuller Brothers.
Yep.
Right? We had Brenda's Broncos.
Yes.
Eureka Seafood.
For sure.
Right? So all those different teams, right? Even we had IAM, we had Mechanics Bank, right? So all those different stores and businesses supported the youth.
Well, I do know that shortly after 2006, and I say that and why it resonates with me. At that time, my mother had been on the city council from 1993 to 2006, where she ended, where she was mayor. And what we did then, which we don't now, is really make a bigger effort to support small businesses.
Yes.
Those small businesses were to the lifeblood of our communities, for our black and brown communities.
Yes.
They were what we understood that was the fuel that energized not only tax revenue, but job opportunities. It was something where kids were able to look and see the opportunity that I could own my own business.
Absolutely.
Because someone who looked like me, walked like me, and lived in my neighborhood was doing that too. And most importantly, giving back. We had measures here that talked about the tax revenue, increasing the tax base. But one thing I don't see is how has it improved the community? How has it been invested into our neighborhoods? How has it invested in our youth programs? We talk about building parks, but what are you doing for the kids that would enjoy that park? We have a lot of soccer, and I appreciate soccer, but where's the support for our football team? We have Dr. Desmond Carson, who grew up and went to El Cerrito High School. He puts all his effort and his money into the program. But I don't see that being matched by the city council.
Exactly.
Those are the things we need to do. My experience of playing for the East Shore Mustangs baseball team at East Shore Park, which is now Booker T. Anderson Community Center, I understood that.
Right.
Because parents were there, they enjoyed that, but our businesses were there too. And what was more exciting than walking into that business and seeing your picture on the back of their wall with your coach? And they sponsored barbecues, but they also
Everything.
came to your schools. We don't have that kind of support presently from our city council.
Hey, okay. Well, speaking of support, and you just said something's key. Let's talk about the numbers, right? The numbers of the Hispanics versus the blacks here. So the blacks is a minority. And we talk about the soccer fields and all these different type of fields. You think that's why we don't have a lot too, because we got the low numbers?
I don't know if that's why we have the low numbers, why we have the low numbers.
We don't have a lot based on that.
So let's look at national sports. One of the biggest challenges we have in really supporting AAU basketball now, or even baseball, is because it's expensive. And so it means that either if you don't have sponsorships from businesses, that means it's going to have to come out of the pockets of these working families.
Absolutely.
And if we have working families presently now that have to pay for childcare, which is expensive, who have to work out of the city, outside of the city of Richmond because we don't have jobs here, it costs for gas. It costs for increasing high prices for food. So they're not able to invest or have somebody match the funds they can give, because all the funds and salary and compensation they make have to go back into taking their kids at home.
That's
And
true.
so we've been expensed out of the ball game, out of the ballpark. And yet there are other companies that are now providing the additional revenue for those communities. In fact, the population for our African-American communities during that period of time, which we had small businesses, were right here in downtown Richmond, which were African-American, black, if you will, are gone. The population has gone from 50% in 1969 to 45% in 2006 to now 17.5% of black folks living in this city. We have 79% of Spanish-speaking community here, but they're even challenged.
Right.
They don't even have baseball. They don't even have American football. They have soccer, but it is something that they've invested in their community, our community.
Right.
So we need to work together to figure out ways that, one, we understand how to play soccer, but also understand how can we invest in kids that want to play basketball, American football, or even baseball as well. And more importantly, the arts. Teaching our kids how to paint, teaching our kids how to build, teaching our kids how to invest in spoken word that can lead to writing books. That's what we need to be able to do across the board. So from athletics to academics, we as a community, we as a city, need to step up and increase that. I don't even think, to my knowledge, Parks and Recreation has a budget.
And that's what I was going into that.
So that's a start there.
Right.
I was going to ask that because it's curious, right? How, how Fahim laid it out there and how you answered it. It's very, very curious about bringing those certain things back, like the baseball and football and stuff like that, and the funding that goes into that, because it's very expensive.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of blacks in baseball now.
No.
You see a lot of our Spanish-speaking community, our brothers and sisters there, and that's amazing. That's fantastic. Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, South America. You don't have folks from Richmond, as we had. We had many. The Felder brothers. They played baseball.
Yeah.
Calvin Miles and them plays baseball.
I played baseball.
Gary Calvin played baseball. You played baseball.
Yeah.
I could keep naming a lot of those folks. We don't have that. You don't even see that in Berkeley. From my guys like my neighbor, Shooty Babbitt, Fluky Luke, and those cats. They played baseball and went on to play professionally.
Right.
You don't see that today. And that's for the lack of interest and meeting the people where they are for the sports that they're interested in, and not just going with the flow and asking other folks to take care of the people that live in our communities.
Absolutely.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I mean, that right there just gives us an insight on where the city needs to go and the direction it needs to go. Because if there's none that's not going on, right, and the population continues to shrink.
Yes.
Because you said we went for 17%.
17.5%.
Then now, I think this, us speaking for, I'm speaking for CBOs, community-based organizations, to be more instrumental involved in the community as well. Aligned with those city council and mayors that's coming into office, we should have a certain rapport. I wouldn't say a certain rapport, but a rapport that see that we doing the work and trying to advance those kind of causes, and we work together across the aisle. How you feel about that?
I mean, look, working together is the essence of how you get things done. I'm a human resources executive. I've done that for over 30 years. One of the things that you have to do is not only just do tactical things, so throwing spaghetti at the wall, if you will, but building out a strategy to say, if we do this here, that is one achievement. Right. But what do we want to accomplish overall? The accomplishment is goal one. Go to the folks and ask them what they're missing here. Goal two, find out how much it's going to take in order, based upon what they're asking to you. If it were a menu, here's the menu. What would you like on the menu? This is what I'd like on the menu. It's going to cost this. Working collaboratively across the city has been a challenge. I think that because we have folks living in districts, that if you take care of your district and they vote for you all the time, then you feel like you've done a job and it's been done well. That is a misnomer. You vote on issues that concern the entire city. You need to have a focus that is people-centric and not zip code-centric.
And that's why when we, 100 years, when we hosted the community forum last month, is why we wanted to have the entire panel inclusive, right?
Yes.
And not separated by districts, by mayor, based on by your love and commitment of the city.
Correct.
For the people, in order for the people to get their voices heard, I've been seeing, well, I haven't seen enough individuals or people in place want to be in power, get in these seats, go to the heart of these communities until we start talking about ballots, until we start talking about seats. What about doing COVID, pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Right? When people really needed, we didn't see nobody. Nope. So, but now the people they want that to be heard or understood. Why haven't nobody come to see us now? And why should those exact same people whose voices haven't been heard believe in you and everyone else?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that you see is one of the tactics. It's the shiny object. It's the lure. It's the bait. Is talking about our present incumbent on city council and also our mayor, talk about they were the people instrumental in bringing the $550 million to the city of Richmond and making the polluters pay. If that was the game plan, the success to your game plan is sharing what the outcome should look like. The way I would have approached it and asked as mayor that we approached it, one, say we are going after the polluters. And what we're going to do with that, we're going to make sure we take care of the public health issues, the air quality issues in the city. Who has it impacted the most? They talked about it impacting African Americans with the highest asthmatic rate here in the county. But yet you didn't go to them and say, if we get this money, whether it is $50 or $550, how would you like us to impact you? How do you want us to make a difference here? One of the things that we should have talked about was, we're getting this money. We're going to look at what's on the books now that we should have taken care of. The bread and butter things, starting with when we lost a hospital, we should look for a hospital. When we find out that our staffing needs are not meeting the needs in our public works and people are leaving every day, public works, and I understand that they inherited what other folks had left for them when they got here, but so what, now what? You apply for the job, do the job.
Absolutely.
Not only bring hospitals here, but I look at what we need to do to bring grocery stores with quality products. Look, grocery outlet, foods co, I appreciate that. But they're too far and in between where we have to travel outside of our city to Pinole to shop, to Sprouts, or to Lucky's or Safeway to shop, and not right here in the heart of the city. And if it costs you gas and transportation to get there, what are the services that we provide to help you get there? People need to be able to come downtown to eat, work, live, and play. I shouldn't have to come home after work and then take another trip to go get Safeway.
Maybe that's a ploy to try to push them people out.
Maybe you should ask the mayor. But that's not my role.
Right.
But that's the role I'm going. My role is to ensure that I voice that based on what I hear from the people.
Exactly.
That's my role today. My role is to get out and ensure that I communicate that I hear you. Because I said in the beginning, the role of the best candidate is one who has lived that experience. Since I was 25 years of age, being on the city council, being on the NAACP as the first youngest NAACP vice president, I was there. When I was 25, Talia Hassan asked me to be part of the Youth Service Bureau. She said, I'm working with youth in North Richmond and the Iron Triangle and Crescent who are killing each other, young men who are your age, young men that you know and families you know. I said, well, how can I help you? I'm a little bit privileged. I live on the South Side in a home with a mother and father.
Right.
I've been to college. She said, but you grew up here. You'll be able to go into spaces because they know you and they appreciate and they respect you. And more importantly, you respect them. No judgment. And talk about what can we do and bring that information back to us because I'm a mother. Mother, Talia Hassan, she's a mother for all of us. And she looked out that way. I went to the county. I sat in as a subject matter expert in court to talk about life in Richmond for young men at that time. And then fast forwarding, my mother becomes mayor here.
Right.
During the biggest crack epidemic time in the city of Richmond.
What's your
from
mom's name?
93. Ahmad Anderson was the name. First black woman to be elected to the city council in Richmond. First black woman to be elected in a major city, the mayor of a major city in the state of California. She was a public health nurse. So the issues I talk about are public health issues. One is safety, where people are protected, respected, and safe in your community, despite what your race is. And that folks are trained to understand as police officers, that in protecting and serving you and understand the trauma that they've gone through. The other piece is about economic development. If you're not safe in your community, businesses aren't going to invest in your community. And they're not going to invest to bring jobs here.
Well, okay, I got to say this. Word has it is that the crime and the violence and the murder rate, has went down within the last couple of years in Richmond.
Yeah.
So by that going down, how do we as a people, the city council and the mayor say, okay, this is leaving.
Yeah.
Something is working.
Something's
But
working.
some people may be taking credit for it who haven't been done anything for it to go down.
Look, if you look around the country, those stats have gone on in places that don't have offices of neighborhood safety. But look at the environment of which they've gone down where the demographics have changed. And I can say this, and others may say it, but I'm going to say this. When crime, they say, was the issue as the reason why blacks left here, that's not it. It was the lack of jobs because companies left here. Because you did not have people trained in the kind of skills necessary to continue to do the work in those areas. They went where they knew they would see businesses thrive, where they knew they would have skill sets of people that already lived in those communities that could do the job, and they've gone on to thrive there.
Right.
Crime was just one aspect of it. But when you took the jobs away with people who have grown up here, and you didn't have the opportunity to apply for a job because business went away or you couldn't drive to those locations, you gentrified the community because those folks moved to Greater Richmond, Vallejo. When Vallejo was bankrupt, your housing went down, so you could afford a house there. And then they went to Pittsburgh. And then they went to Discovery Bay, which is Pittsburgh, and Antioch. And if you go to those places now, those places are thriving. You drive into downtown Antioch, they have businesses, they have stores, they have everything that, oh my, what Pinole has. They have everything that El Cerrito has. They have everything that San Pablo is developing. And our neighbors Albany have. That's what it looks like in Hercules. So why does the city of Richmond, the largest city in West Contra Costa County, not have the same thing? Because the mindset is that you are not about responsible growth. You have focused on issues outside of the country and not focused on the people that live here in your community.
So we got people sit on these panels. I want you to chime in. So we got people on these panels in these so-called positions of power, basically turn a blind eye to the real issues.
Well,
that's what it sounds like.
I don't know if it's a blind eye. I think that their focus is different because they've not really lived in this community.
That's what I mean. So, I mean, if I ain't been here and I don't understand it,
Yeah.
I can sit and act like it don't exist, but it really do.
I'd say to you that there's two people, to keep it real with you, three people that are running for mayor that have that lived experience. It's Mr. Wasberg, Mr. Johnson, myself.
Absolutely.
Mr. Martinez and Mrs. Jimenez, they didn't grow up here. They don't remember what it looked like to live here, where the city of Richmond, and I'm 66, I'm older than everybody who's ever lived in here or serving on the city council presently. Understand, the city of Richmond was the Fillmore of the East. We had music here. We had thriving business here. We had jewelers here. We had Leo's Bakery here. This was a hub of activity. This is where we had stores here. We had places where we could shop and buy for tomorrow, and food we could eat at our table. And we had entertainment and culture right here, from here to Parkchester to North Richmond. Places we could go. We don't have that now.
So just to add to what Fahim said, 'cause that depiction, what you said, how do we, I don't want to say turn the trajectory back and we moving forward. How do we, modernize that perception that you have, that idea, or should I say that mission that you have, right? How do we begin those steps to regain that traction for the new? Because we got you, we're still here today, we're doing a lot of good work. How do we, put that in the vessel and push forward?
Look, there's a plan that's been on place when Janet Johnson, she was the only person that we had. We didn't even have an economic development department. But she worked with the East Bay Economic Development Agency to talk about how we could develop a city of promise in the 12 square blocks in this downtown area. And it meant revitalizing not only the transportation hub of what you have at the BART station,
Right.
where people can get there, go to work, drop off their kids here for daycare, shop here, and then be able to move forward from there to be able to provide other opportunities along this corridor. The corridor which we now have only the one grocery store there, but all the other locations have closed, from a pharmacy to T-Mobile. All of them are closing down. We still have the sign up here for Mylands that was here when I was 6 years old. But they have small businesses here that are not meeting the needs of the community. We need to, one, build a community where people feel safe to build and bring your business here. You talk about the crime rate has gone down. Yes, gone down around murders, but we still had just recently. We have crime rate of theft of cars. We have crime rate of commercial property. We have street trafficking, human trafficking. We still have rapes. We still have gunfire. We still have robberies that keep going up.
Okay.
That's not a safe community. They pick and choose what resonates with people. But here's the piece. Unfortunately, when you tell people, where do you live? I live in Richmond. They go, ooh.
That's true.
But here's the other piece. I used to tell people, don't worry, especially my white friends, don't worry. They're not shooting white folks. They're killing blacks on blacks in this community. So as the population left, those murders went down. Now the population, there are still black on black, but it's now brown on brown. They're shooting one another. So when you're looking at developing the community, tell the whole story, not just parts of the story. When they left the community, our people left and moved those areas from Greater Fairfield to Sassoon to Sacramento, West Sac, and even Vegas.
Right.
Crime did go down, but you gentrified the people that grew up in this community by not providing jobs or opportunities or pathway forward. And I don't see you, and everybody's talking about, don't accept corporate money, don't accept business money. Well, what does that mean? Then if you're not accepting that money, where is your tax revenue coming from?
Right.
Because Chevron's not going to be here forever. That cash cow may leave someday. Where is the strategy to recruit, to roll out the red carpet that provides the building and trades opportunity for an East Bay Skill Center to train our people, not only in buildings and trades, but also in AI, but responsible AI in such a way that it doesn't take jobs away from the men and women, but teaches them how to actually code and develop open AI. That is what we need for our people to be able to be progressive and be successful in this community. When they see you have that and you're working with your school system, people will say when they move their companies here, what do they look for? I need a place where I can take my kids to go to school. I need a place where they'll be safe in their homes.
Or a babysitter.
And a babysitter. But if you're not putting those things together, you are ending up you're talking about dreams, and nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. We need people that are going to put forth action in place. Having relationships, as you just heard, I just had the conversation with Garamundi's office. I've had those conversations being endorsed by Buffy Wicks, Assemblyperson Buffy Wicks, and Senator Argan. Those are the relationships you need to have. And having the experience I've had to be a consultant, to be someone who's been an activist, to be somebody who's been on the ground floor and still living in Richmond, that is the essence of what it takes to make it work. And TikTok is on the clock. It's time for new leadership. I am that leadership here. Got me fired up, but I'm fired up because I love Richmond.
Fired up then.
I'm fired because I love Richmond.
I feel the intensity. I love it. It's what we need because everything that you said, right, reflects on, I'm visualizing as you saying it. So it's like, yeah, those are the things that we need in detail to help this city, get back to its prosperous position that it once was.
Look, you're right. Economic Development Commission I was the chair for 2 years. And we constantly got pushed back on talking about what we could grow and develop here. But it's because people haven't walked these streets. They haven't been to your show. They're not listening to you. They may give you a certificate and it looks good for them, but we want folks that make sure that they can see and feel that change. And if you ask the folks you talk to in the streets, they can't see it and they don't feel it. Where's the investment in the people? Where's the investment in the community?
Just say come June 2nd.
Yeah.
And the people's voices have spoken. And their voices have said, Mr. Anderson, we believe in you. And they take you on to November, right?
Yeah.
And then just say, hey, the people believe in you in November. What would your first 6 months look like?
First 6 months is going to be, first of all, meet with the departments to find out what was scheduled to be done and what has not been done. Then I'm going to request, but make it very transparent, that each city council member is supposed to hold a town forum in their particular district. And I'll be there as well. We'll send staff as well to collect the data. We've done so many surveys, but we don't ever get all the feedback in a timely fashion. Then we will bring that back to the city hall. We will do an overlay timeline of here are the results of the survey. Here's the timeline of what's the priorities based upon what the people have said, and then move forward with that timeline and those priorities and provide updates, not as we find out in real time, like finding out late what's going on with the Craneway, finding out late what's going on with the Red Oak, finding out late what's going on in Point Melati. What's going on with those things? Why aren't we looking at Point Melati and saying it should look like the Presidio, a place where you have immersive activity, where you have food trucks, where you have an opportunity where people can learn the history of Richmond? Why don't you have the Craneway looking like the San Francisco Ferry Building, where there are shops, where there's food, where there's business thriving, and make it a destination where people actually use that fairway to stop there and eat? Why don't you talk about the things to develop the communities that are 15-minute places where you can walk, like Point Richmond or 23rd Street or San Pablo Corridor or other areas up in Hilltop, putting a hospital in Hilltop, putting a store in Hilltop, putting a mixed use in that community.
When you say put a store in Hilltop, you talking about a mall used to be?
Not a mall, but a mixed use community. Large malls.
I'm saying about the area where the mall used to be at.
Where the mall used to be.
Where they about to tear down, whatever.
Where we've been talking about it since 1842.
Right.
Or let me say that, keep it real, since Richmond, 1905. What do we do now?
Okay.
We need to do and look at what other folks are doing. Look at Pinole and what they've done in downtown Pinole and be able to keep that going. Look at what they've done right across the freeway from where Hilltop is in Pinole with the shops there. Look at what they've done in El Cerrito Plaza. Look at what San Pablo's doing. We need to mirror that, and it needs to be a mixed use. We need to have not only housing there, but not incredible density and make that community lose its aesthetics and beauty that it has in that area. But someplace where people can go, find housing there, meeting them where they are, economic levels that are across the board and not just placing housing there and say, oh, well, building they come. It doesn't happen like that. Look at housing for our teachers. Look at housing for our nurses. Use the nursing program in Contra Costa as a vehicle to train folks, but also an opportunity to have a hospital where you can learn skills and then be able to have housing there where people can live, eat, work, and play right there in the community. That's what's important, to have ties that bind, that there's a pathway and a career pathing, not just to regular old jobs, but jobs for working families with benefits so you can purchase a home. Look, you right now in this community, you can't do that. And times are getting tougher. You hear every gubernatorial candidate talk about it. We need a community where people can afford to live in this state. Right. We need a city council and a mayor that can provide direction where people can live and eat and work and play in this. It's the bread and butter things. It's taking care of public safety. It's taking care of economic development, providing jobs, working with your school system to get buildings and trades back in there, get technology back in there, to train our kids so when they come out, knowing that everybody's not going to go to college, but you'll have a pathway to pre-apprenticeship programs and appropriate apprenticeship programs that give them hope. And then working with nonprofits like yourself to provide hope and opportunity, like I did at Goodwill's Industry, the Greater East Bay, for folks who have been incarcerated, to provide some skills in warehousing that aligns with the businesses that we're bringing here, to give them that opportunity to grow and have success in the city they were born and raised. Why should I have to move somewhere else to bloom? I should be the seed planted here. I should be nurtured by the city. I should be watered and taken care of by the city, and then give back to the city by being a full operating community citizen and working in my city.
Wow, that sounds like you was just at a.
You answered just about every question I asked you. This is great. You know what I mean? So
that was good. That was good. I know we got a couple minutes left, but before, you got any more questions?
no, I'm sitting here waiting on what you're gonna ask me, because I'm just sitting here chewing on what he just said. That was
that was great. But that was because the people need to hear that. That was I heard commitment, sincerity, and passion in that. Why does everyone, I won't say everyone, why does a lot of people want to now separate themselves from the RPA?
I think here's the first thing. If I tell you we're at a crossroads and Richmond needs new leadership, forget me, what I'm saying. Or even if you look in my eyes and think I'm lying, look at the fact that we have 5 people running for city council, for mayor.
Before you go, and the reason I'm asking that question because I'm just now learning about it. And I know a lot of citizens and residents do not know anything what the RPA is or who they are, what they represent. That's why I'm asking the question.
And I'd say to you, if you look at the fact that you have 5 people running for mayor,
okay,
and you look at the fact over the history, if you're just now entering the Terror Dome, if you will, in the city of Richmond of politics, that the RPA ran on, and this is what they call themselves, and you never heard me on the forum say, well, the RPA this, the RPA that. I say president administration, the president leadership, the voting bloc. They ran against the status quo. They ran against folks who they said that were in bed with Chevron, business, and it wasn't looking out for the welfare of the people who were suffering, the people that needed help. I'd say to you now that the same group, and it sounded good, and it sort of felt good that you had people that were going to step in and speak up on that in that way. But if you look in this case, for the mayor's case, 12 years later, what have we now? Where is the downtown Richmond?
Right.
Have we gotten any better here? We have not. Have the potholes gotten any better? They have not. Have we invested in the South Side that's been left out of the equation? We have not. And that is what people would say. You know, don't talk about what you're going to do. Make sure I can see it.
Yes.
But most importantly, can I feel it?
Yes.
And where do I want to feel it? I want to feel it when I'm getting somebody respond to me in the Monterey Pines or in Crescent Park about they're not taking care of the heat, that the water smells bad, that they're not taking care of the neighborhood, and that they are private owned, but they live in our city.
Yeah.
And then you go to our communities right down Cutting Boulevard, and now, since we're in this conversation about who's being voted for, they're starting to clean up the streets. They're starting to cut down the bushes and the weeds. And I said in one of the forums in my neighborhood, and I live in a nice neighborhood, middle class neighborhood, Laurel Park. The weeds are so tall you could lose your infant and toddler in there if you're sitting at the bus stop. Or what happened to Mayor Flores? And I know there's some things that have been recently improved, but where have you been prior to election time? And one of the key people is the mayor. The mayor's been for 12 years. What have you been doing? Now your report card says, I did this. I held the polluters. But what have you done about bringing a hospital here to take care of the health and welfare? I think those are the things that people are tired of listening to. Talking about what you're going to do and not doing what you're supposed to do. And people are tired of that.
Yeah.
And how do I know that this leadership needs to change? Well, the councilperson Jimenez, who was a part or is a part of the RPA group, like the mayor, the self-proclaimed, both they are RPA,
Yeah.
now they're running against each other. So if Claudia feels that the leadership is not right, then it's time for others who feel that way to step up and step in. And that's why you have myself and Demlis and Mark running as well. It's no secret. Here it is. They parted ways. So a house divided leaves an opportunity for us to bring forth a house united and to move forward with new leadership.
Absolutely.
And I am saying to you, don't wait to vote till June 2nd. Don't wait to vote till June 2nd. Your ballots have been moved, already mailed to you. Don't wait. Take the time, read up on the candidate, but it's time for you to step up and come alive, Richmond. You need someone to be a conduit. You need to see someone to be a helping hand. I'm going to open up the door, and James Surround said, help you get it yourself by empowering the people. Let's move towards unity. Let's move towards success, because it's us together make a difference, because your voice and our actions matter.
Well, he spoke loud and clear. The only way to do it is to pursue it. So, man, thank you, man, so much for
Thank you all.
coming by. Fi, you got any questions for the young man?
I got one last question.
Yes.
How does one become a vice mayor? If you're the mayor, how do one become a vice mayor? Do you get to choose the people, or they just slide somebody next to you?
The vice mayor is elected based upon the city council members. Back in the day, it sort of rotated. It rotated, You're vice mayor, you're vice mayor. But, I think one of the things that was talked about, and other cities have them in larger cities, like in Oakland, you have a deputy mayor.
Deputy
You
mayor,
have somebody who's dealing with the day-to-day things, or is a spokesperson to be able to communicate with the mayor, to give feedback, to give some more additional insight, to work with the staff, and have another person, a right and left hand, that are working collectively. I think that might be a thing to consider. I think we have to look at what our budget looks like, because we're right now not hiring people.
Right.
So they believe that's a balanced budget, but not hiring people is a good thing. Well, no, it's not. All it does is wear people out that are working there. And so I think it's something to look at. And would it really work here in the city of Richmond? It's worth the effort to review that.
Yeah, because I would think, just like you got the president of the United States, right? Every president got their vice mayor, who they want, their trusted leadership, their trusted cabinet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why would a mayor, if they had the control or the power or the say-so, to say, hey, I don't want this person next to me because they really don't believe what I believe in.
Yeah.
It could be almost a sabotage sitting next to you. You follow me? You
Yeah.
putting policy in, and they doing something else because they not really for you, but they just got it because it's their turn.
Yeah, they're in our present form of government, because we have elected mayor and the city manager actually runs the staff. There's some people who believe that the chief of staff for the mayor is that deputy mayor. So, if and when I become the mayor, I'll have to look at who's out there in our community, who may be somebody who's presently working on staff,
Right.
maybe even someone who ran for mayor. To think about bringing them on,
Yeah.
bringing an additional voice to the table to be that person.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Mr. Ahmad Anderson, with that being said, we 100 years enterprise. We just trying to be a voice for the people.
Yes.
And amplify, whatever positive what you all got going on. I want to just say thank you,
Doc.
for stepping up.
Appreciate you.
They want to represent Richmond, represent the people, a pride and purpose. By you being someone who come from a family, strong genes, strong will, in brief, what would you want your legacy to be like?
That Ahmad Anderson was not only raised by Richmond, but reflected truly the fruits of his labor to really instill what pride and purpose means to the city of Richmond. That my parents did what they did, and that was their life. But Ahmad stepped in and stepped up when necessary to be all he could be and do all he could do and build relationships here in the city of Richmond to make it a city for all, as one.
Absolutely.
I
Say, Hamza, how you doing?
I wanted to get in on that, man. That moved me a little bit. I just want to say, man, we commend you. I talked to several people in Richmond and outside of Richmond. They're very, very high about you. It says a lot about you. Everything you articulated, it was shared. You know what I mean? I knew you in coming, right? Meaning that people mention you.
Yes, sir.
Across breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and buffets. And your name always came up in those circles. And it was impressed. And I was impressed by the people that spoke about you
Thank
that
you,
I didn't know
Patrick.
you was connected to.
Thank you,
So
sir.
I want to say from the bottom of my heart, man, it's been very, very fulfilling just hearing the authenticity in what you're saying. Because, you know, that's missing in politics, right? And everybody's chasing, everybody's just trying to convey who they are, but they're not conveying the message of the people. And that's what I heard. I heard birth today.
Thank you.
So I appreciate, man, the time that you took, man. It's a great honor to hear you speak, man, and share the same room with you in regards to what you're trying to do. And I give a shout out to your parents because they raised you right. Your parents, man, they set the mold, they set the tone, and you following up, even though you're your own person. But they did pave a path for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I've known you all your life.
Absolutely,
here, and,
absolutely.
And you know, folks in Oakland that I know, and so you know that it's not just the city of Richmond, but I realize that this kind of leadership, the leadership that I'm sharing and that I've been blessed to be based upon who I was raised by, is not just about the city of Richmond, but it's the region. And that, you know, we got to work together to make it happen, and know that I sit here today as a non-elected, that I look forward, because I play to win and not to keep from losing, to come back as an elected. And if I'm not elected, I hope that my doors will always be open to you all, but that your doors will be open to me.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's nothing but a call, and I will be here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
With
so
that being said, we are 100 years enterprise, consequences of the street life. Hey, we went a little different direction today, but it was great. Hey, we closing out season 7, episode 10. We got 7 in the books. 7 episodes, 7
Look who we
seasons,
closed
huh?
out with. To close this out, man, this is like,
We got 7.
you know, man, this is a blessing from God. All we can say, we staying humble, man, and staying in it, man, and just staying, giving back and being in service to the
right.
people. So
right.
we in the right place where we need to be. So I'm very, very humble and look
Blessings.
forward
Absolutely.
to this election. You know what I mean? I look forward to seeing it, have my popcorn and sit back and enjoy. Where the best person win, I'm going to support, because it's all about the people.
It's all about
Well, eat up quick, because I'm going to put you to work.
It's all about the people. And again, want to give a shout out to Chevron. You know, Chevron always been behind us, man. Want to give a shout out to my man Cam. Cam is cool and behind the camera.
Thank
He
you,
always
sir.
been. He been with us, man. You know, for this season, is doing good. A good working relationship. We about to do some great things. We about to take our show on the road. We about to hit some different cities, different states. Actually, speaking of different cities, we just came back from seminary, Oakland. We did a great podcast out there with Moshe Mall, so that was good. Our first time doing something outside. But yeah, you know, we really finna just step this thing up and take it on the road. And it's coming, man. And God is good, man. And hey, close us out, my brother.
I just want to say, man, shout out to 100 Years Enterprise, all the mentors and all the person that helped us get this far. You can reach us at 100 Years DLP, Instagram. You can also reach us at 100 Years Enterprise, our website. Listen up at 100years.biz. Listen up is LISTNUP at 100years.biz. Also, what was the other one? We got
We
one
got
more.
a Facebook, 100 Years Enterprise.
We got Facebook 100 Years Enterprise. We have Instagram. We have YouTube 100 Years Enterprise YouTube. So check out all
One
those
HYE
channels.
podcast
One HYE podcast. Yeah.
on that YouTube.
We got so much going on, man.
We got all over the place.
We got about 5 or 6. But
Be
in
about
total,
the business.
It's about the business. It's about the business. Hey, Spotify. You gotta hit us up on Spotify too. Man, we got the audio and the video on the Spotify.
That's
While
right.
you driving, hey, plug it in,
Tune in.
put that Bluetooth. And guess what? We out.